I met Patty Worsham years ago. We both taught at EC Glass for a number of years. I think she went there, I know she went there before I did. I came to EC Glass in 1986 and was there until about 2000. And Patty was there probably over 40 years. During that time, she taught English, but she also was the department chairperson for our English department. She was very committed to the literature that she was responsible for, and she primarily taught 12th grade, if I remember correctly. And so she was responsible for teaching literature that had to do with the wars that have happened in our country, and particularly she had a specific interest in the Holocaust and the Holocaust Museum. She made that very real for students. She was able to make them identify in a very real sense with the horrors that existed during that period of time. She made it real to them. She related well to students because as much as we're glad that our students have not experienced some of those things, some of our students have experienced some real traumatic situations. And I think that opened the door for them to have conversations with her about the traumas that had existed in their lives, because it was real to them what she was teaching about, and so it wasn't foreign to her to hear some of the things that they were experiencing, and it gave them an opportunity and an advocate. When you can make it real, when you can make people recognize that these were real people and parents and children, and that they suffered unnecessarily and undeservedly in ways that they did, it becomes very real to students. And so it gives them an opportunity to empathize with other people who are suffering, hopefully not in the same way, but are suffering in our environment, in our world today.
If you read the newspapers, if you see the media of all kinds, you know that anti-Semitism and hate is proliferating drastically and sadly, both throughout this country and throughout the world. And there's nothing like fact, relationships, personalities that share the best of us rather than the worst of us that makes us a much better community. I would only say about Patty that she is an optimistic, constant, intelligent, and always supportive individual. She never says, no, we can't do it. She always says, let's give it a try. Let's find the right timing. Let's find the right people. It's her leadership always that inspires.
I think our most important mission is education. And as a teacher, I think education is the key to almost everything. And certainly understanding and finding a humanity that connects us, as opposed to seeing the differences, the things that separate us, the way that hatred and prejudice can insidiously work their way into our thinking, many times without even our consciousness. And of course, we look at the role of media back in Holocaust times and then think of today and the explosion of media that young people and our nation is exposed to that doesn't allow us to connect to people. And when you can have a conversation with somebody who is different than you are, you can learn something. And once you learn something about that person and understand them, you've got empathy, because you can understand their journey. But if they're foreign, if they're different, if their skin color, if their religion, if their socioeconomic status is something you don't understand, it's easy to make them into the enemy. And so I guess our goal is to find that thread of humanity and understanding. And that goal, I think, can always be accomplished through education, through having the conversation. And in our community, through having Holocaust survivors speak, like Gerda Weissman Klein, we were able to have some of those conversations and listen to the very difficult stories of what happened to our world back in the 1940s and what could and sometimes does still happen again. You have to take what you have and look to others. And how can you use that to help someone else?